We are live. It's AfroEconomics Live. Thank you for spending your Wednesday night with me. Still getting to know our new software for going live. Thank you for your participation. Please make sure that you chat so that I can know that you are there. In addition to those who have been wonderful enough to be with me in the studio, I'm trying to get their all of their cameras right because we have a lot that I want us to go over, and I want to make sure that you're able to participate. So if you are, I want us to talk about a couple of a lot of stuff, and I should have, like, I don't know. Oh yeah, I did. So we got to talk about inflation. We got to talk about interest rates. We got to talk about stocks, bonds, real estate, taxes, and Kanye West. And Kanye West, yes, Kanye West is Mr. Multi-billionaire, and he has a lot to do with today's business market. So I want to make sure that we give him his proper acknowledgement and respect that is well deserved. Um, Indeed. So we're going to talk about all of those items as we get into our session today. And then so inflation, interest rates, stocks, bonds, and why indeed would I say that? Just because you're seeing it all over the news. We're seeing it over everything that we um everything that touches our lives. It's going back to our money. How is the current situation with the government going to impact our financial future, right? How is the increase in interest rates, how is that going to impact our future? So I want to just share with I'm gonna share screen because I'm gonna use this technology and it's gonna help us along. Thank you so much. How you doing, Miss Davis? I see you. How you doing, Mr. Barden? I see you. I also, when you all do make a chat, then I can know. So just know that I see you, but I don't know that you're there because you haven't said anything. So just say chat in the chat, or we're gonna be right back into that little Zoom studio because I can't, like, I can't see you and acknowledge you and actually address your questions without you chatting into there. So definitely make sure that you do the chat if you have something that you want to respond, if you have a particular question about what's going on in the marketplace. That's the real reason for our Wednesday nights. Our Wednesday nights are for us to have a resource that we can say, hey, what do you think about what do you think about that? What do you think about this? We need to have somewhere that we can go and not just talk about the bad things or what someone did or some law that someone broke, but let's continue to talk about tax strategies. But I need to know, what the challenge is, what the question is, because that's what Afroeconomics is for, to get to know you when we go past this discussion, to get to know your personal financial goal. You would be amazed at how many people, Mr. Barden, that actually pay way too much on their taxes because they don't know any better. They don't have a strategy. They haven't thought it through. So I'm gonna wait, Mr. Barden, and I want to bring up you and Ms. Davis to actually, if y'all have, some specific things that or examples or questions that you think can add to our experience in this discussion, please let me know. We even have quite a few, so don't forget, chat so that I can see which of the social media pages you're coming in from. If you're on YouTube, make sure you go and subscribe. Please subscribe. If you're on Facebook, make sure you like our Afro Economics page out there. If you make a chat right now, I have to make sure that this new system is working. If you chat and ask a question, I can see your question. How you doing, Mr. Jones? Was it hard? Was it hard logging in today? Say no, please. That's good, good, good. Don't the well I am so glad because I need you. I want to share a video and I want to get some feedback from you all on on this good news. This is some good stuff I want to share with you. Okay, here we go.
Easy gap.
Easy Gap.
Easy.
Easy. This bright blue puffer jacket is the first item to drop from the Yeezy Gap collection. The $200 coat was released for pre-sale on June 8th, 2021, which was also Kanye West's 44th birthday.
Make sure you
While the
can
blue
hear
puffer
it. Let
won't
me
ship
know if you
until
can't
fall
hear it.
2021, and the black and red colorways won't ship until even later, they've already made their way to reseller sites like StockX and Grailed for nearly 3 times as much. West says the deal made a huge impact on his finances, telling Joe Rogan.
My net worth went from 3.3 billion to 5 billion, and I've been asking the people around me to run the story. They never ran it.
Analysts estimate that the Gap will generate nearly $1 billion in incremental sales in 2022. And the Gap is betting
Do
on
you
Kanye
feel
West's
that?
influence to revive the brand.
3 billion to 5 billion. I mean, 3 billion to 5 billion. I'm gonna bring y'all in because I want to talk about that. Like, do you understand how that can happen? How Kanye said that he went from 3 billion to 5 billion just from establishing his relationship. It's just from establishing his relationship with the Gap. Now, the stock market is challenged, but the Gap, actually the Gap stopped, and I can share that before. Let me just share that screen for a second. That the watch this. The Gap stopped up 8 cent. You know what I mean? 8 cent today. I mean, and this is um the volume actually for the Gap like has just become more attractive. More people are even thinking about the Gap. My husband even brought this to my attention because he's all on top of the all of the information, especially when it comes out with retail. Look, if we were in corporate, we'd say he's the retail analyst. So we tell, oh, could you give us some feedback on that Kanye West move? But that is, so good to see when we think about the stock market and we think about entrepreneurship and we think about branding, if you continue to watch that video, Kanye talks about how much he always wanted to have a fashion. He always wanted to have a brand. He always wanted to, be involved on that level. And how better than for him to connect with an existing company that was trying to stay relevant.
That's right.
I love about Kanye because every time people think it's over for him, it's never over for him.
It's
Like, you
true.
know what I'm saying? I love the way he bounces back like that. Like all of this money, this is new money. This is new money. He just doubled. Like going through a divorce is with his old money. Everything he's doing now, this is new money. People sit there and talk. Anybody when they talk about how much money they lost or in a divorce and stuff like that, then I know that it's just over for them because they're not thinking about the future. When you see these Bill Gates, you saw the guy from Bezos from Amazon, all of them went through major multi-billion-dollar divorces. Did you ever hear a complaint out of them?
Not
Not
one.
at all.
Not
With
one.
billions, because they were too busy thinking about their next move.
Mhm.
Their next move. What am I gonna do next? What new relationships can I develop so that I can continue to move my wealth forward? And that is a black entrepreneurship. We have to develop that type of attitude. That's why on Friday at noon I'm talking about how private equity, how a lot of businesses are built, how Gap most likely was started. What is venture capital? What is, even the fact that many people from all over the world, their family gets together and builds companies and starts companies. Like Bezos started Amazon from a family loan from his stepfather.
Yeah.
So when we when we see stuff on the news and it's talking about the stock market and it's down, for the majority of black people, unfortunately, all they see is, wow, I'm glad I don't have any. Because we in Afroeconomics are statistical anomalies. The majority of black people don't have any stock market exposure. They don't understand, the opportunities there. They just go and buy Gap clothes, but they don't have Gap in their portfolio. Like,
Right.
they don't know, or they don't know. You know, they don't know, never even thought about it. They walk in the store, they don't think they should have ownership of anything. You know, but it feels
All the brands that we purchase,
all of the stuff that we
all the brands that we
purchase.
purchase.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And sometimes we have investments. They might have a mutual fund, and you don't even know what's in those funds that you have at work, or you're not even participating or fully participating. So we got to get it into, like, how can you be sitting here listening to me and not make one chat? We haven't had one chat question come in. We have to become more curious. We
Yes, we
have to
do.
ask more questions. How many times do we actually get the opportunity to talk to a licensed professional about financial matters? Because most of the time, the people who are cash apping us, this is free. All I'm asking for is a subscription. All you got to do, even if you join AfroEconomics, you can do the free membership. So this is free for you to ask. Instead, we will go and pay an unlicensed person to give us bad advice or sell us something. We're not selling anything. I'm not selling anything here. I am serving you with empowerment. I just want you to know that Yeezy, Kanye West has a line at Gap. If you're gonna have to go and buy something over the holiday, you gotta spend, like so many people gotta spend, maybe keep it in the family. Check that out.
Wow.
Maybe consider that. And then,
Mhm.
that's for your consideration. But so when we have you been watching, have you seen on the news, Mr. Jones, like they've been talking about inflation a lot, like
Mhm.
just o-
Inflation, yes. Yes.
interest rates.
Interest rates. Janet Yellen been doing a lot of talking, yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God, like I know, like she was like she got mad at the guy or something over that was saying that inflation is going to continue for a while.
Yes.
I think it was her. Like, no, it was that other lady, Elizabeth Warren, got mad at the
Yeah.
chairman um, of the Federal Reserve because he told what he sees as his truth, that we have a ways to go. That we're still trying to pull through. That we're still trying to pull through. Like a headline: mortgage demands fall as interest rates rise to highest level since July.
But they're still very low, though.
But they're
Historically
still,
speaking. My
but
first
look,
house I bought, I paid was 12%, and that was good. That was good
but
back
the
in the
worst part about it,
late '70s, early '80s.
but you
Wow.
were buying for value.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're not, now these houses are so overpriced. This is the bad. That's the worst part about it.
That's true.
It- They're buying the house, so it like they get them coming and going. Like you have to pay the higher interest rate. Now they're paying way too much for the house.
That's true. That's true.
At least you know what I'm saying. You can refinance. You pay too much for the house, you can end up with a foreclosure.
That's true.
You can refinance and get a lower payment, and you still, if you bought the house at the right price, you will come out. You will be all right.
It's true.
You make the money at the price that you pay for, and we're going around competing. It's like people pulling on a baby doll in a store, over a house.
Mm.
That's true.
Mm.
I'll pay you more than it's worth. I'll pay you more than it's worth. Oh my.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so sad. That's so sad. You know what? I think that they're texting me and they're putting in comments and the comment stream is broken. I think something went wrong because I remember it's saying something about there's an error in the something. Poor things. I'm so sorry.
Let
Now
me.
I get it because I know. So y'all, we have some room in the studio, so you can come over on that side. How you doing, Queen Howard? I know that you are there. I know that, but it said something tricky. So that's why you gotta be bold. Don't get scared about that camera.
That's right. That's right.
Gotta be bold like Kanye West. So you have $5 billion.
Hmm.
It's so possible. It's so possible. It is
Yes.
so possible. Now let me look at my notes before I and then okay. So the stock market in many ways we've seen it a lot worse. Based
Oh
on
yeah.
all of the ugly conversation that they're having, I'm shocked in the stability that we're having. Yes, I definitely got your I'm getting that chat, but you're in the studio. But
Okay.
um there's like 30 people, you know what I mean? At least like looking that can't make comments, unfortunately. I don't know what
That's where I
happened.
was at last week. I was there last
Oh,
week.
you were like, I'm not gonna be on the outside. I'm in the inside now. And y'all chat, I know, and I would have to chat. It said something. It said something, and I was like, not really. I was like, well, I gotta go, but it was saying something about get another link from the chat settings, blah
Okay.
blah blah. That's okay. Look, all we know is that Zoom
Yeah.
is not perfect. Restream is not
Oh yeah.
perfect. I can
Yeah.
switch to another one. They not perfect.
Yeah.
You can just look. You can put your money all over the world, and all I'm gonna mess up is not
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It is sad. That is business, y'all. But you
Yes.
still never ever give up. You cannot give up. So we're going to um, continue to keep an eye, though. Keep an eye on your investments. This is a good time to think about yourself. Are you a long term investor or are you a short term investor? I have some clients that need their money for a particular reason. We're moving out of the market because they need it for something within the next couple of months. But if you don't need it for something within the next couple of months, you could actually consider viewing this as a buying opportunity. But you just have to be careful what you buy.
True.
Talk with your trusted financial advisor. If you don't have one, please consider AfroEconomics. I'd be happy to help you. Just make sure you join and let's get started. So what were you saying, Ms. Davis? Would you say it's a great time yeah, is this a
Mhm.
great time to dollar cost average?
Yes.
It is always a great time to dollar cost average. And that is when you're systematically investing a certain amount of money. But you can sometimes beat out a person who's dollar cost averaging, and we never really think about it.
Mm.
But if the market is constantly going up, the person who's dollar cost averaging is always paying more and more and more. So if they have put it all in at the beginning, they would actually be better off.
Mhm.
But it usually doesn't happen like that. Usually the market goes up and down, and up and down and up and down. So the dollar cost averaging, you know what I mean, can work over the long term. But it's also a good way to make small investors feel good. But
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, um, if you're not certain about it, like say you had $1 million and we were putting it in the market today, we might dollar cost average $100,000 into the market over the next 10 months or
Mm.
over the next 6 months. But
Mm-hmm.
so, you can dollar cost average. It doesn't have to be small dollars. It could be big dollars that we're dollar cost averaging. And so then great question. And then so the bond market, you know, the bond market is a big discussion now because
Yes.
Congress is worried
Mm-hmm.
that they're not going to be able to pay their bonds because they can't agree on the budget,
Right.
which is, it's a sad thing because they know they owe the money. So you're just sitting there thinking about if you're going to pay it or not. So I'm not really worried about that because y'all know y'all got to pay it. You know, you don't want to ruin the credit rating for the United States of America,
It's true.
So it is a prime example of what control tripping looks like. You know, I mean, like, don't you realize you really don't have any control? They don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? They don't. So they're just like, I'm just gonna sit here and the news is gonna interview me every day until October 1, and they do it. And the media comes running after them. Like, it's gonna do it. And then if they don't, like, and they really it's politics is just amazing. And for our money to be wrapped into the politics, it's saddening and often frustrating
Frustrating.
because
Very frustrating.
I
Yeah.
want to focus on business. You know what I'm saying? But you can't really get around the political
Mhm.
impact of
Exactly.
business because even though I love if there was anything, I would say I'm a tech strong advisor. I really am into the tech sector. Most of my portfolios are tech heavy. So that means that a lot of my portfolios are taking a hit right now
Nasdaq.
because of the interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Interest rates going up for technology companies means it costs more for us to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Technology companies are about growth. They're about the long term. They're about the future. So when interest rates are kept low, no matter how great they are from a 20-year ago perspective, the companies are spoiled now. And it's almost cost nothing to grow the business or start a new business. So it's that's why it's hitting the tech industry, hard. But we continue to move through it because anybody in a tech um environment, I'm if I'm exposing the person to it, it's because they are a long-term investor. They're in it for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
So they see this. I don't believe in short-term changes impacting your long-term goals,
Hmm.
even though there's a lot of people that do that. Because a lot of people, they didn't really rationally think through their first or initial financial decision. So because they didn't think through the first decision, they have to deal with the consequences, that that oh, I was supposed to be in I said I was in it for the long term, but I'm really not. So now I'm terrified, and over these short-term changes. And so they could end up losing money because it's very hard to get an investor that gets out of the market to get back into the market.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling the client this week, I was like, it's kind of like um marrying the same person again. Like you get a divorce, it would be very hard. I mean, people do it, but the
Oh,
majority of
yeah,
people don't marry the same person again.
boy.
You know, And that's what happens with investors that get out of the stock market. They're afraid, and all they can do is
No, of
remember,
course.
you know what I mean, what happened last time,
Of
or
course.
they just, you know what I mean. So they have that fear in there. So it's like, the client that I told that to, he said, "That's a good analogy. I get that. I get that." So, and
Okay.
I mean, think about the marriages that stick with it through the long term. They always say, "Wow, it wasn't always easy." I mean, I haven't heard anybody yet that was married for a long term and they don't say it wasn't always easy. And that's how all investments really work. That's how investing in a business really works. When we're investing in the stock market, we're investing in businesses. And when you start your own business, you're putting money and you're investing in your own business. And it's not always good. It's not all, business is not always up. What did Miss Davis ask? I don't know what's up with her microphone. Did she try to talk? If she can,
She posted it. You didn't see it,
I
JB?
know. I was gonna try to get her to talk, but she's like, no, it's not working.
She
The
said
okay.
that the healthcare compared to the tech. She said, which one would be better at this time?
It depends. I would, it depends. I would try probably to get some sort of technology that's connected to healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be the right one, in any sector. Like when you say technology, you're not really talking about a sector, you're talking about a whole industry. You know what I'm saying? So if I like a part, that's like saying semiconductors. That is a technology, but that's a part of technology. When she says healthcare, you know what I'm saying? Like
That's kind of
that's
broad.
that's a little, what I mean? And it's kind of a niche too, though.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
Yeah.
what if it just goes like in this COVID thing just gets, God forbid, out of control. Like, you know what I'm saying? It could almost be devastating where some of them have to go under and other hospital or the government has to own every hospital.
Wow. Picture that.
Wouldn't that be
Mm.
something? I mean, a
Wow.
lot of the hospitals have been sustained from government funding,
Oh
Mm.
yeah.
probably in major areas,
In
you
rural
know,
areas as well.
right? Right? Things that we
Mhm.
don't even think about that they don't cover. Um, they don't cover that on the national news, so
Right.
we don't know. There's so much going on that we have no idea.
JB, Miss Davis said her mic is not working.
Yeah, see, look. Well, you look good. I'm glad you in it. I'm glad you're not afraid. Everybody's still over there. And look, if y'all can come over to the studio, a few of you could. I know, because you can't chat to me right now. So let's go back to the notes and the Amazon. I wanted to bring up that that Amazon settled a lawsuit with their employees. I think it's only two employees that said that they were fired over their activism over protecting other employees or saying the workspace wasn't right, and they said they got fired over it. Isn't that something?
Yes.
That set a precedent. There's a whole bunch of black folk that deserve to get their jobs back.
Oh yeah.
Look, not jobs, but at least get their payback. They made millions of dollars over this, and they won that lawsuit. And I mean, they didn't. They were settled. It was settled out of court. So Amazon came with the dollars. Mm,
Mm-hmm.
that's amazing. We need to get that. Like, we really need. And the what is the future? And I wanted to, for what is the future of the impact of the vaccine on businesses? That some research came out from the National Restaurant Association, and they said that half of the business operators that they surveyed said that they are worse off now than they were 3 months ago.
Why?
Mm.
Why are they worse off now?
It says the Delta variant. I'm glad you asked.
Thank.
understaffed restaurants, and higher food costs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? Only 9% of the restaurant owners said that their conditions had improved over the last 3 months. That's,
Well, part of it is supply chain and getting the goods to the restaurant, and also transportation costs. It's hard to get truck drivers now.
right.
That's true.
So
Good
when you
point.
put all that in the mix,
Good
then it's
point.
very difficult to get all those goods to a restaurant, and then have the workers, because restaurants, we see the nice establishments and all of that on outside, but back in the back,
Mhm,
they're very
mhm,
tight quarters to work.
mhm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, several eons ago, I worked in restaurants, so I know,
Yep.
you know, dishwashers. I mean,
Can you
you're elbow
imagine?
to elbow back there with the cooks and everybody. So it's a tight situation.
Mm-hmm.
And look, and that's the understaffed part. And then all of the trucking and everything and the challenges is on that higher food cost part,
That's right. That's right.
and people are, I don't, people have just kind of, they probably, just operating the restaurant has become harder, and they don't know if they should even keep the restaurant open or just make food and get it, and just get it delivered
Right.
and
That's right.
do the delivery services,
Right.
because it costs a lot just to keep the doors open.
It's
That's what
true.
I was saying about, in my business. I have office in Virginia, DC, and New York that I have to pay rent on. So, and that's been, I'm into like my second year of paying for offices that I don't necessarily need. Isn't that sad? And I don't want to stop supporting my business suite because I work with a consortium of other businesses. So
Sure.
we all need each other to keep putting the rent in. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's like, it's, and it'll cost more if we fall apart and start over, you know what I mean, than it will be to keep it together.
Mhm.
So I think that, a lot of people, um don't realize how blessed they are. Like, you know what I mean? That it's not an easy time to be an entrepreneur, and my business is mature. So I can, imagine with newer businesses, but I always feel that during challenging times, it's always a good time to start something new,
Mhm.
right? As David said, I can't wait to, man, do a whole nother one. Do another one. Add a number four. I know that's right. Amen. With the always a good time to start something new, but it's going to take a lot of sacrifice. And I don't think that it has been fully communicated to our community the sacrifice that it is required to have a business.
It's
We
true.
just kind of, we look at these businesses, especially even the business that a person may work for, and a lot of times they say like they don't have so and such, or this place is such and such. And they're making all sorts of money, but they never really consider all of the expenses they have to cover.
It's true.
They have to make a lot of money. They have to make more money than you. To be like, I know they make like three times more than I do, but if they, that doesn't mean anything. They probably need to make four times more than what they pay you, because they have a lot of expenses associated with you. I was doing tonight, I had to renew one of my business insurances, and I was like, geez Louise, like, I spend a lot of money on just the insurances to
Mhm.
operate the business.
It's true.
Yeah. And the so it's, let's look at it. So the, also, oh, the unvaccinated NBA players who miss games because will not receive their paychecks. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that exactly. I heard it was on the table. Is what I heard.
Oh yeah, but it's confirmed now.
Okay.
Mm.
The NBA is not going to pay them. Now
Wow.
that LeBron said he's vaccinated, I guess everybody has to be vaccinated because LeBron said it.
Mm,
Now it's done. That's, I guess that's why I didn't even know all that was going on. So their season is about to start.
Yeah.
October.
Wow, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. It's about to
Mhm.
start.
Yep.
It's about to
So if
tip
they
off.
not, they gotta, yeah, they don't have much time. I guess they told them because it takes 4 weeks, that 3, it takes 3 weeks to get fully vaccinated and
Right.
some.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's this a lot. This is some special times. We'll keep an eye on that, but because um people thinking about other jobs, these guys are going to lose millions of dollars. Mm. So
Millions
that's
of
some,
dollars. Yeah.
that is definitely, for up for something for us to think about. So the let's keep an eye on the stock market. Let's keep an eye on not paying too much or not overpaying on our real estate. And then inflation is the cost
Mhm.
of things, the cost of the things that you buy, the cost of things that you need to eat, the cost of, the governor. They had like this debate in Virginia last night, and one of the people running for governor said he was going to stop taxing groceries.
Mhm.
Like people, like, I think that's real. They estimated that on grocery taxes, that would save people about $1,500 a year. They probably did the biggest families they could find. They're like, it's a family of 8 buying $200 a day of groceries. No, but taxes can add up. So I thought that was an interesting approach, but that shows you that the times that we're in. Because I remember years back in Virginia, there was a governor who said they were going to get rid of, I think it was property tax on cars or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
we do pay. We still pay. So all they did was just reduce it, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, exactly. I'm like,
He
yeah,
said
but what
yes.
else? But what? I guess that would be the same thing with the groceries if that guy wins. We should make a list of broken financial promises, made by politicians.
The list would be too long, JB.
They can break a lot of
Right.
them as far as, yeah, these changes coming up with the
Yeah.
capital gains tax and stuff. They could break that. They could leave it alone. So, there's a lot of things, I guess, in this new bill that they have to approve, that it includes those taxation changes, and it's kind of really gotten smeared where nobody's really talking about, income taxes and, all the other changes that might happen for the individual, and capital gains taxes, and um changes for business owners and stuff like that. But we have to, the things that Congress is doing right now, we do need to think about how is it going to impact me as a business owner, as an individual, as a person, if you're thinking about doing estate planning, passing on things to the next generation, what's the best way for it to be done? A lot of the stuff that Congress is talking about is going to impact you that way.
Mm.
We just haven't been, pushed to think about it. So what is the future of the vaccine, and how is it going to continue to impact, our businesses?
Mm.
That's,
What I heard about that was a lot of businesses are making it mandatory for their employees to be vaccinated
mm,
and to prove that they were vaccinated. Yeah.
and that, like, and you have people, so the people that you're talking to, didn't want to do it. They don't want to do it.
Well, some did, some didn't. Yeah. But what I read in the news and heard on the news is that a lot of employers are for a lot. They're not, but it's going to be mandated that all employees have to have it and have to be able to prove that they have it.
Mm, yeah, when the government, right? Everybody
Yeah.
working for the government, it's mandatory.
Yes.
I,
Yeah.
I, in my opinion. since the government is the one that put it out there, that should have been the first thing they ever said. Like, it's their product basically. So
Hmm.
everybody in the military, everybody that works for the government, anybody funded by the federal government, like all of it,
All
like
of it,
that
all
should
of
have
it,
been like understood. They should
all
have
of it.
gone first. Look, they should have gone first.
Yep.
Then look, then to the normal, look to the normal, but then to the average person.
Yeah.
Look, but to the average person, but it's like that's your product. That was made by the federal government. We finance
Yeah.
that, like, through tax money.
Tax
We
money.
have these businesses that are benefiting from it, but that's going to be something that really needs to be discussed, is how did these people become multi millionaires, eventually billionaires, off a product that really taxpayers paid for.
It's
That's
true.
going to be interesting, and how much of that insider trading by those leaders in those companies, are we just going to allow to just slide?
Ooh, Lord.
I mean, they were just selling stuff whenever they wanted to, and they could announce what day the vaccine was ready and when they were going to sell their things and when they were going, in our world, that would be considered insider trading.
Well, that's just like the Federal Reserve members, two of the members of the Federal Reserve trading on on bonds that they're sort of
Yeah,
governing
they're
how much.
controlling exactly.
Yeah. So I'm like, why are they going to jail? I mean, then
That's
they
right.
both resigned. They
That's
both
right.
resigned, and then they just let it go and just let it
Oh,
go.
oh my goodness, I missed that one, and they let it
Yeah,
go.
they
That's
resigned. Yeah,
crazy. That's crazy.
The one in
Mm.
Boston, and the one in Dallas.
And
I'm like,
they were trading bonds, and they
they
had
were
that's
trading bond.
I'm telling you, when we get to the other side of this, then they're going to be all of a sudden want to talk in front of Congress and talk it out and stuff like that, like just like the war that we just shut down. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You know how in 4 or 5 years they'll come and tell all the horrible things that happened. Like, this
Right.
is what's going to happen with COVID. Like, but meanwhile, you're getting richer and richer, and you're putting money away and away. You like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, and put it in different pockets. And it's like when somebody kills somebody and then they let them go home, and they let them go home. They don't give them a charge, which you've seen like with Aubrey, when those men shot him and then they went
Yeah.
home for
Yeah.
days. You
Yeah.
can get all of your stuff in order. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the way it's
Yeah.
supposed to work.
That's right.
So then rest, it's not an opportunity. And then the prosecutor that let it happen, she only got like a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Or and they do. That's so sad.
Yeah.
It's so sad. That's so sad to the victims. There's just so much. So keep an eye. Continue to There's so much stuff. No matter, like, we're looking at it all the time, and look, we all still, we still miss stuff. But we do need. But look at how with Amazon, those people who were fired did not just let it go,
Right.
and now they're multimillionaires. And there's a whole bunch of other people that probably got fired, you know what I mean, from that. But these two people are the multimillionaires, for that pushed forward and pushed back.
Think about
So
that. That's right.
that is something else. Yeah.
That's right.
When we need to know it's okay for us. But that's why I think Afroeconomics is so important, because from a consumer, we need to have a collective. We need to have a place of truth where we can discuss, you know what I mean, legitimate things that and be able to speak and find out, what is truly going on,
That's right.
what we should be thinking about. So make sure you check out afroeconomics.com. Thank you so much. Y'all are such troopers. I don't know what I would do. See, that God is going to bless y'all for sharing in there, coming on camera with me. There's a special place in heaven for people that help me. It's so true. Thank you. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. I appreciate it. I'm gonna check on y'all who are in the chat after this, and I'm gonna try to find out what happened, and I'll get it straight, or we'll be back in the Zoom studio. We'll see what happens. I miss you all. Thank you so much, Mr. Jones, Miss Davis, Mr. Barden, Mr. Robinson, and to everyone. Oh, how you doing? Eric's down there. It's like down. I have to go down. Thank you so much, Eric. You didn't turn on your camera. Next time, be ready. Next weekend, I'll see members only. Friday morning. Members only. All right. And Friday afternoon, the AfroEconomics Business Network. And then also I put up the information on the Women on Wealth. I expect to see our AfroEconomics men there. I see some of our men have registered. It's at Virginia Union University on October 29th. I look forward to it. All right. Y'all have a good night.
I'm JB Bryan, the creator of AfroEconomics, a strategic financial empowerment program based on 10 timeless financial principles like generational wealth and legacy, financial knowledge, credit confidence, entrepreneurship, self-reliance, and more. AfroEconomics gives you the guidance and tools you can use to develop and sustain wealth. Check out AfroEconomics on your favorite social media platforms. You will find us everywhere. Plus, enjoy my weekly AfroEconomics podcast. There are many levels of AfroEconomics membership, including the free online access membership level called No Excuses. So make no excuses and check out AfroEconomics.com today. Powered by JB Bryan Financial Group, Incorporated, a registered investment advisory firm. #AfroEconomics.